If you are digging or disturbing the earth, you should take care to avoid damaging underground services. Underground electrical services can be particularly hazardous because they can often look like pipes, and it is impossible to tell if they are live just by looking at them. Damage to underground electrical cables can cause fatal or severe injury. It is important to take precautions to avoid them. You must only break ground if a permit is in place and you are aware of the precautions within the permit, and all controls have been implemented. The permit must detail the services detection method to be used by the contractor to identify the profile for the excavation and identify hold points associated with the excavation process. Once a locating device has been used to determine the position and route of the service, the excavation may proceed. Safe digging practices must be used close to buried services. A locator may not be able to distinguish between services running close together and may represent them as one signal, so it is important to frequently repeat scanning the ground during the work. Once identified, the line of any identified service should be marked on the surface of the ground. Once the services have been identified and marked, the excavation can commence. Safe digging practices must be used close to buried services. This involves excavating alongside the service rather than above it, and only using spades and shovels, preferably those with curved edges, close to known buried services. Pneumatic breakers and mechanical excavators are the main causes of danger, and they should not be used too close to underground services. Services may need to be supported and should never be used as hand or footholds for climbing out of an excavation. All services should be assumed live until disconnected and proven safe at the point of work. This normally requires written confirmation from the owner. Almost all construction work involves some form of excavation for foundations, drains and sewers, and every year people are killed or seriously injured while working in excavations. Excavations should be visually inspected daily, before, during and after work, by someone who understands the risks and the controls to be taken. Only enter an excavation if the sides have been stepped, sloped or supported. The collapse of an excavation can be avoided by installing a physical shoring system for any trench greater than 1.25 meters in depth. Such systems must be designed by a competent person. Excavations less than 1.25 meters can also cause serious or fatal injuries due to collapse and falling in. Only access an excavation if ramps, steps, or a secure staircase is in place. Ladders must only be used as a last resort. Each excavation must have at least 2 access points. Excavated soil, plant or materials should be stored at a safe distance from the sides of excavations. Materials stored too close to the edge can make the sides of the excavation more likely to collapse. Only enter an excavation if protection is in place, barriers to prevent people from falling in and stop blocks to keep vehicles out of the excavation area. If possible, ensure heavy vehicles are kept a safe distance from travelling next to the excavation. Use lighter vehicles and machinery to reduce the loading effect around the work